your head. Dance till you're dead. Heads will roll, heads will roll, heads will roll on the floor. Glitter on the wet streets, silver over everything. The river's all wet, you're all chrome. Dripping with alchemy, shiver stop shivering. The glitter's all wet, you're all chrome. The man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out. Oh no. The man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out. Oh no. With your head, dance, dance till you're dead. Heads will roll, heads will roll, heads will roll on the floor. Glitter on the wet streets, silver over everything. The glitter's all wet, you're all chrome. You're all chrome. With your head, dance, dance, dance till you're dead. With your head, dance, dance, dance till you're dead. With your head, dance, dance, dance till you're dead. With your head, dance, dance, dance till you're dead. With your head, dance, dance, dance till you're dead. With your head, dance, dance, dance till you're dead. So come out. You have been waiting long enough. You're done with all the talk, 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 with nothing on the table. It's time to come on out. There will be no sign from above. You'll only hear the knock, knock, knock of your own heart, a signal. If you are afraid, come out. If you are awake, come out. Come out and level up. Begin again. Dynamite the dam on the floor. Yes, you are only one. No, it is not enough. But if you lift your eyes, I am your brother. And this is all we need. And this is where we start. This is the day we dream. This is the day no Restart, electro heart. Deja vu, I fall apart. 5 minutes falling back. And I electro heart. I feel divine. It's like I travel faster as I remove the darkness. There's no legacy. It's hard to see. I feel the world is shattered. In tears, they cry. I'm about to be erased.
How's that? There we go. That's where the sound was. I was being terribly clever, outwitted myself. Not sure whether I could be heard through any of that. An almost incredibly smooth introduction to the fact that it is playoff final night, which means we are going to be playing the pub quiz and getting live updates from the Brentford-Fulham game. I know that a lot of you would rather be there than doing this, so thanks everyone who is missing the match to participate. Now, for those of you who have not played the Quizcazoatl publess pub quiz before, this is a quiz in 4 parts. We have round 1, which will be a combination of trivia and pictures from our picture sheet. The picture sheet is available at bit.ly/quizcazoatl_pictures, or just find that link on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. It is always a good idea to start getting ahead on those picture questions because they come thick and fast by the end of the quiz. We'll have the first 7 of those in round 1. Then we'll go to the music round. 6 songs straddling the time flow from the 60s right the way through to the 2010s. On to round 2, more trivia with 7 more pictures. And finally, we will have your very own, everybody loves it, it's the Quizcazoatl Wipeout round. Somewhere in the middle, we will do a t-shirt question for last week's winners, our very own, what are they called? Sounds a bit hippie to me. And we will be doing a t-shirt tie-break for Anne and Tim, hopefully. But that is all to come in the future. If you would like to run through the competition alongside our regulars, or if indeed you are a regular and have somehow forgotten how to submit your answer sheet, go to bit.ly/quizcazoatl_answers, also available from the Facebook and YouTube pages, and get an answer form going. Do please make sure to use the same team name for every round. You'll be asked to enter it a couple of times. Helps me track who is who if you keep the same team name throughout the quiz. And if you are willing to do some marking for us, we do swap answers between teams. So please do help us out by giving us an email address. I promise that we will not sell it to any Nigerian fishing fleets. Why they need your email address, I don't know, but they keep coming to me and asking me to sell. Imagine that. Anyway, enough of all this. It is 0-0. Looks like Fulham are having the run of play at the moment. However, that's to one side. Question 1 is coming up now. This is an easy one to start off with, I think. Tiger, basking and hammerhead are all types of what? Tiger, basking and hammerhead are all types of what? Okay, well that should be easy enough for anyone with a subscription to the National Geographic channel. So let us plough ahead to question 2. And we are asking which country's websites end with the top level domain .es. .s. Which country's websites end with the top level domain .es? And seeing as we're on the subject, just a quick reminder to everyone, don't be going to google.es to look any of this up. This is a trivia quiz. If your trivial knowledge is not adequately trivial, then I'm afraid you are not going to get the question. It is not fair on everyone else to just look things up. In the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz, we are going to have some questions that have more than one answer though. So keep an eye out for those. We have, as a rule of thumb, almost always, 1 point for every answer given. And that's going to be relevant as we come to the first of our picture round questions. So, picture number 1, question 3. We have 6 people here, all of whose initials are CC. Can you name them all? 6 faces means 6 points. Okay, hopefully you've made some progress there. You can always come back to them later. If you do need a question repeated or to see a picture again, and you're not using the picture sheet for whichever reason, remember you can always rewind the YouTube link a little bit and see what I said. Don't forget though to catch up again after you do a rewind. If you end up back in time, you will be submitting your answers late and you may not be able to participate properly. Anyway, this brings us on to a Brentford corner coming off the back of the drinks break. Brian Mbumo gets a header in, but it goes straight to the goalkeeper. Still 0-0 at presumably Wembley. Yes, there we are. They are in Wembley, an empty Wembley. If you don't want to know the results, look away for the rest of the broadcast. Anyway, question 4. In the modern standard game of croquet, what colour are the 4 balls? 1 mark for each colour of ball. Alright, let's keep pushing through and on to question 5. There are 3 countries in the world that have both an Atlantic and a Mediterranean coast. They're France, they're Spain, and which other country? I'll give you a clue. I don't think it's Australia. Which other country has both an Atlantic and a Mediterranean coast? Okay, hopefully you've worked out that little conundrum. Back to the pictures and on with picture 2. It is your friend and mine. The best bit of set theory, in my opinion, it is the Venn diagrams. We have some intersecting ovoids. Can you work out what could fit into both groups? We have an example on the left. Planets at the top, chocolate bars at the bottom, Mars in the middle. Can you do that same intellectual calculation for the 3 new ones? Alrighty. Moving on from the Venn diagrams to a question of speed. And no, it's not the speed of the Brentford wingbacks. It is the speed of the fastest thing on 2 legs. So for question 7, can you tell me what is commonly considered to be the fastest living animal running on 2 legs? Running on 2 legs. What is commonly considered to be the fastest living animal? So to be clear, we're probably not looking for a cheetah who has been taught to walk on his hind legs. Okay, we're going to keep pushing along, and we are on to geography. I know that you all love these American state questions that we keep thrusting at you, but can you tell me the 3 US states that have English names beginning with the letter O? Name the 3 US states that have English names beginning with the letter O. Okay, question 9, and we are headed back into the pictures. We have got, what have we got there? 6 things. They all begin with min. M-I-N. For the drink, top left, we have even indicated the number of letters that you are looking for. That is a 2-word something. Other than that, you are... No, hang on a second. Yeah, that is correct. Oh, hang on, no, is that the bottom left? Oh, I've confused myself now. Well, if you can get the answers, it'll probably become clear whether it is for the top or the bottom. I'll leave you to it. Okay, we are on to a little bit of materials science for question 10, because we are asking what material is the exterior of the Statue of Liberty made of? What material is the exterior of the Statue of Liberty made of? And the answer is not freedom. And let's also go to question 11. Back to the grandstand vibe. We're asking which duo are the only non-individual winners in the history of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award. A pair of people with at most one personality between them, we must assume. Damning with faint praise, some would say. Anyway, which duo are the only non-individual winners in the history of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award? For a bonus point, in what year did they win? Now, functionally, us asking a bonus question is just like us asking both questions, but we've wrapped it up in the sort of the marketing spiel of bonus to make you feel a little bit better if you don't know it. So there you go. Can you name our personality challenge sports personality duo and tell us what year they won in? And talking of sport, it is still 0-0. Fulham have been making the running, but everything to play for. Okay, and back to the pictures for question 12. We have got 6 films here. All of them have exclamation marks in their titles. Can you name them from these? I guess we got some promotional images, maybe some shots from the films themselves. Now, while you think about that, let us line up our first spot prize question for tonight. Now, the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz spot prizes give you a chance to have a run at one of our famous limited edition Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz t-shirts. If you haven't got one already, or more likely at this point, if you have at least 3 already, because it is, again, in the tie-break we're going to have in a minute, it is again Auntie Anne. We also have Tim, both of them previous winners. Now, this aside, today's question, and remember you can all enter individually for this. Send an email, quizcazoatl@gmail.com. Contact me via the Facebook Messenger option, or just hit me up through any other messenger service you have come to believe that I am connected to. Whoever is closest to the correct answer will have a chance at one of those t-shirts. If someone else gets the second spot prize question later, we'll go to a tie-break next week. If you get both of this week's nearest guesses, then you will be our winner. The question is, how many road fatalities were there in the UK in 1926? It's potentially a little macabre, but the good news is that there were less then, I suspect, than there are this year, even lockdown notwithstanding. So anyway, can you work it out? How many road fatalities were there in the UK in 1926? So, viewers, as I say, we are having a t-shirt tiebreaker for our t-shirt spot prize question winners last week. We have Anne back for the, I believe, 58th time on a Quizcazoatl Publess Cubs t-shirt tiebreaker. And we have the top of Tim's head. Tim, possibly the very first Quizcazoatl, no other way. There you go. Up, up, up. Yeah, beautiful. Possibly the very first Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz t-shirt winner. So this is all very exciting and enormously frustrating for Alon, who still hasn't got one at all. I think by now you know the routine. I am going to give you 3 events that happened in the past. I am going to ask you to guess, or indeed know, what year they happened in. Because you've all got t-shirts already, I'm not going to give you quite as much margin as I do sometimes. So I'm going to say whoever comes in first, I'm going to give you plus or minus 5 years either way. If you get it wrong, we'll pass it over to the other contestant, but I'm only going to give them plus or minus 2. So it is a tricky one this week. Right, without further ado, our first event back over to the United States. The Boston subway opened. At least I'm assuming it's not Boston in Lancashire. Do they have a subway yet? No, it can't have been, because it was the first underground metro in North America. Boston subway opens. We also had Anthony Eden was born. We all remember those baby photos of him, but what year was it? Anthony Eden was born. Finally, Oscar Wilde, criminal extraordinaire by the standards of the times, was released from prison. Oscar Wilde was released from prison. That's our three events. Boston subway. 1894, says Anne. That is not right, but it's only 3 years out. The correct answer was 1897. Anne, already rocking that rather tasteful grey t-shirt. Our Temple t-shirt monkeys will be in touch to sort you out again. Tim, very unlucky. You're paying a t-shirt hoarding dragon. Let's be honest about it there. You would have been there. You gotta get in. Gotta get in. All right. Thanks very much for playing. It occurred to me, no one appears to have said anything. I'm not entirely sure I had the sound on for that.
Oh. I'm not in the quiz.
So, apologies if that was a complete disaster. Yeah, we haven't had any chat on the comment thread this week at all. If someone could just say something to confirm that's actually working for me, that would be enormously useful. Anyway, right, there we are. Professionalism abounds. If you didn't hear, it was Boston subway, birth of Anthony Eden, and Oscar Wilde released from prison. And Anne got it. She said 1894. It was actually 1897. There we are. Jane's there. So I guess presumably the sound was working, or else someone would have said something. But I sort of my settings appear to be out. There we go. All right. Well, maybe you just didn't care. Let us get back to the questions either way. All right, question 13. The Channel Tunnel was officially opened in 1994 by Queen Elizabeth II and which French president? The Channel Tunnel was officially opened in 1994 by Queen Elizabeth II and which French president? I'm not sure if I said, but if I didn't, I'll remind you that the spot prize winner will be announced round about question 17. So you've still got a few minutes to think about all of those 1926 road fatalities before we are going to announce that spot prize winner. Yeah. I think the verdict is that my sound was on, Anne and Tim's was not. So apologies, Anne and Tim, your voices were lost to the world. In my defence, it is very warm in here. Anyway, back to the pictures for question 14. Oh, not those pictures. And we are going to picture 5. We have got 2 predictive texts to solve. You've all done this before. This week we are looking for things that could go before yard. Use those early 2000s texting skills and find me 2 words that could go before yard. More importantly, the football has gone to half-time. Fulham have been pushing hard, but it's all even, everything to play for. We'll keep you informed. Back to the sporty theme for the day, and for question 15, we are asking what sport involves a mixture of map reading and cross-country running? No, it is not getting to Liverpool Street for the train. It is something else. So what sport involves a mixture of map reading and cross-country running? And question 17. Question 16. Flanimals, a book all about flans that have mated with animals to produce some sort of weird hybrid species, presumably. Flanimals is a series of children's books written by which comedian? Flanimals is a series of children's books written by which comedian? So we are coming up to question 17, and that means that if you want to have a last fling at guessing some of those highway accident statistics from 1926, now is your time to shine. How many road fatalities were recorded for the UK in, what did we say, 1926? Otherwise, I'm going to be picking this week's Spot Prize 1 winner if you want to join Anne in the hallowed halls of T-shirt owners, or more to the point, if you want to beat Anne and stop her getting yet another T-shirt, now is the time to get in there. Anyway, question 17 takes us back to the pictures, and we trailed it a little early when I hit the wrong button. We have 4 logos to look at. Can you identify the brands associated with each of these 4? Well, having looked at the answers that have come in, I can assure you that most of you are cruelly misled when it comes to just how dangerous the early motor vehicles were. We have had answers like 4 fatalities, Emma, 4, Danielle, Sai said 11, Jimmy said 13, Kitty said 17, Michael said 11, as indeed he always says. Stuart said 1,000,000, but that was an answer to a spot prize question from last week, so that's fair. Rich said 47. This is genuinely embarrassing. The only player who has even hit the correct order of magnitude is, of course, you know it. It's from Anne's house. It's Tony. The correct answer was, where was I? Hang on, I've lost my answer now. The correct answer was 4,886. Tony said 3,100. And is therefore the closest by absolutely miles. There were just more cars on the road back then, I think, than everyone was giving credit for. Well played, Tony. You are going to be back on our screens next week. If anyone does think they were closer than Tony, of course, and that I've missed your answer, do let me know. That has happened once or twice. Not so very often. Once or twice in the past. Anyway, away from the spot prizes, we seem to be running a little slow, probably my fault. Question 18, which German travel guide gave its name to air raids on historic or beautiful British cities in World War II? Which German travel guide gave its name to air raids on historic or beautiful British cities in World War II, thus preempting the World War III TripAdvisor nukings? Okay, we are closing in on the end of round 1. If you would like anything repeated, do feel free to hit me up on the comments, or as I say, you can rewind the YouTube video. Don't forget to catch up afterwards. Question 19 takes us back to the pictures for picture 7, and we have 4, frankly, over young looking people. I can honestly say I've never seen any of these before in my life. Or else I'm just too old to remember new faces, which is also possible. Can you give me the names of these 4 loonies and tell me, plus or minus 2 either year, in which year were they born? Meanwhile, in the football, free kick to Fulham just outside the penalty area. I'll let you know if it goes in. Alright, anyway, it's 10 to 9. Quite time enough to get to question 20 of round 1. And I am asking you for the last question of the round, what C is another term for a bruise? Or what C is another term for a bruise? Okay, it is time to get your answers in. I will also give you a little bit of a 5-minute break, get another cup of tea, another pint of beer, another hobnob. I'm feeling a little bit decadent. You are allowed to have a hobnob. Do whatever you need to do. I'm going to put up a 5-minute timer. When the timer ticks down to 0, it'll be time for you to hit submit on those answers and for all of us to move to the music round. For those of you who were on tenterhooks waiting for an update, it was a great free kick. Niskans Cabano whips it in, but it hits the side netting. Could have been a goal for Fulham. Still 0-0. Okay, hopefully everyone is back from the old comfort break now. And that means that it is time to go to the music round. So if you haven't hit go yet on your round one answers, really that is absolutely your last chance, because you can click through after you've submitted and get your music round form up. Do remember to use the same name for every round. In the music round, I will give you 6 songs to identify, and we are asking you to tell us both the artist and the name of the song. There are 6 songs, 2 things to say, so 12 points available. We will be ratcheting through the years, starting in the 60s on to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the noughties, and Her Majesty's tenties. I'll play them once, I'll give you some time to discuss, and I'll play them again. At some point during that process, all things being equal, you will be receiving links to the marking sheets so as we can mark the first round. So if that all goes smoothly, we will go straight to marking the first round after the second time I play the music. Anyway, without further ado, here we go.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes.
I'm nothing special. In fact, I'm a bit of a bore.
Don't be so down on yourself, love.
If I tell a joke, you've probably heard it before. But I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud.
Every time I look into your loving eyes, I see love that money just can't buy. One look from you, I drift away. I pray that you are here to stay.
She has a train going downtown. She's got a club on the moon, and she's telling all her secrets in a wonderful balloon. She's the heart of the fun fair. She got me whistling a private tune, and she's all my magic friend. She says hello, you fool, I love you.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I've been here too long. The songs on the radio sound the same. Everybody just looks the same. But then last night was so much fun. And now your sheets are dirty, the streets are dirty too. But you never look back over what you've done. Remember when you were young, you'd lose yourself.
Hey, I was doing just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay. Hey, you tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car, and 4 years no calls. Now you're looking pretty in a hotel bar.
Well, I wouldn't say those were the easiest songs that we've ever had for the music round. If you were me and I were you, and I was listening and you were asking me this question, I would be asking to hear those one more time. So, empathetic guy that I am, I will, but not before telling you that it sounds like it's a pretty turgid game over at Wembley. The second half is moving a little slowly. So what you're going to do? Still 0-0. Anyway, here we go. One more play for the music, and then anyone who has been kind enough to volunteer to mark, check your email. We're going to be going straight to the marketing? Straight to the marking about a minute after this play finishes.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes.
I'm nothing special. In fact, I'm a bit of a bore. If I tell a joke, you've probably heard it before. But I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud.
Every time I look into your loving eyes, I see love that money just can't buy. One look from you, I drift away. I pray that you are here to stay.
She has a train going downtown. She's got a club on the moon, and she's telling all her secrets in a wonderful balloon. She's the heart of the fun fair. She got me whistling a private tune, and she's all my magic friend. She says hello, you fool, I love you.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I've been here too long. The songs on the radio sound the same. Everybody just looks the same. But then last night was so much fun. And now your sheets are dirty, the streets are dirty too. But you never look back over what you've done. Remember when you were young, you'd lose yourself.
Hey, I was doing just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay. Hey, you tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city and I broke down crying. 4 years, no calls. Now you're looking pretty in a hotel bar.
Okay, take one more minute to discuss those music round answers, and then we'll come to the round one marking. If you really need the extra time, then send your marker off to me, and you can keep on discussing the music round answers among yourselves up until at the very latest when we finish marking and we go to round two. Okay, then time to go to the round 1 answers. Question 1, we asked what tiger, basking, hammerhead, baby and grandad are types of, and it is of course shark. It's a shark. Question 2, which countries' websites end with the top level domain .es? That's Spain. Clearly SP wasn't available. They must have been furious to miss out on the first 2 letters of Spain, but so it goes. 1 point for Spain. On to the first of the picture questions. We had 6 people, all of them with the initials CC. First off, we had Coco Chanel, a woman named after chocolate flavoured perfume. Then Chevy Chase. Then on to Chelsea Clinton, Craig Charles, Cindy Crawford, and purveyor of genocide to the landed South American gentry, Christopher Columbus. 6 points available for Coco Chanel, Chevy Chase, Chelsea Clinton, Craig Charles, Cindy Crawford, and Christopher Columbus. It has been pointed out to me that someone for question 2 ignored the apostrophe in my pronunciation. I thought I'd said which countries' plural websites end with the top level domain .es. Hopefully the apostrophe was shown on the plinth. Although you can never quite be sure with punctuation on the plinth. If you are marking a team who put 2 countries down for question 2 and one of them was Spain, I think give half a mark for being 50% right on that one. On to question 4. In the modern standard game of croquet, I'm standing by only giving you a half point before anyone complains because, of course, each country has a different top-level domain, so there couldn't possibly be 2 countries sharing one. If anyone can give me an example of 2 countries who do share one, I will roll that back and give them a full point. Anyway, on to question 4. The modern standard game of croquet. What colour are the 4 balls? 1 mark each. Red, yellow, blue, and black. Well played, any croquet lovers who got all of those. 4 points for red, yellow, blue, black. No points for saying that you use a flamingo to hit them. Question 5. 3 countries have an Atlantic and a Mediterranean coast. France, Spain, and which other? Were you wondering whether there was a Portuguese enclave somewhere near Mallorca? Of course not. It's in Africa. It is Morocco, straddling the 2 seas. A point for Morocco. Question 6. We asked for missing items from the Venn diagrams in picture 2. First off, we had docks. That was pluralised 7 dwarfs. Crossed with Google software products. The second, Delta Force, crossed with Greek letters. This appears to have been an ill-conceived question because I am assured that we must also accept, if you thought that the team you're marking got it wrong because they didn't put Delta, I'm afraid nothing so simple. We have a variety of other acceptable answers, which are Omega, Beta, Nu, and Psi. So anything out of Delta, Omega, Beta, Nu, and Psi for the second point there. Finally, we had Monopoly Properties meet brands of cigarette. And we are accepting Mayfair, Pall Mall, Bond Street, or Strand. Hang on a second. Can we be accepting all of those? Good grief, I had no idea there were so many cigarettes. And I'm pretty sure, isn't there a Marlborough Street in Monopoly? So, unless I'm very much mistaken on Marlborough, I think we should throw that one in as well. Question 7. Running on 2 legs, what is commonly considered to be the fastest living animal? It is not Usain Bolt. It is ostrich. It has been pointed out, I think, a tad smugly, that .eu is a top-level domain shared by a variety of countries. It is, of course, true that there are top-level domains that are not individual country top-level domains, but that wasn't what I was trying to get at. What can I tell you? I've never smoked a Bond Street either, but it seems possible. Let's all go on a cigarette tour of the Monopoly board on another occasion. Moving to question 8, we had 3 US states with English names beginning with the letter O. I could have given you a clue. I could have said the letter O, which would have given you Oklahoma, I imagine. Also Ohio and Oregon. So Ohio, Oklahoma and Oregon for 3 points. On to the pictures again in question 9. Tucker Feltham, I will dock your half point if you don't let it go. Half point at most for putting 2 countries for the top level domains. Outrageous. There we are. 6 things in picture 3. We had mint julep. Did briefly wonder whether it could be Minesweep that was being indicated, but decided it probably wasn't. So mint julep. Then the min pins. I can honestly say I do not remember a Roald Dahl book called the Min Pins, but fair enough. Then for the musicians among us, we have the Minim. Then we have Minesweeper. We have Mini-Me of Austin Powers fame, and we have the Ministry of Sound. If they have put any other ministry, except Silly Walks, which I'll accept just out of capriciousness, they do not get the point. So 6 points for the mint julep, the min pins, minim, minesweeper, ministry of sound, and mini-me. I said those out of order. A pertinent point to remind you, although you know well enough already, that this is not an ordering or spelling quiz, so be generous on both of those fronts. What material is the exterior of the Statue of Liberty made from? It is made of copper. That's why it has that nice green colour. Copper for a point. Question 11. Which duo are the only non-individual winners in the history of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year? What year did they win? It is Torvill and Dean, and you can have a special bonus point, which is exactly like a normal point, if you put 1984. 1984 and Torvill and Dean. 6 films in picture 4, all with an exclamation mark. Technically, I guess with sort of 2, one of which is upside down. We start with The Three Amigos. Moving on to Moulin Rouge. Then, what are my all-time favourite comedy films? With the late, great Leslie Nielsen is Airplane. Then, with the Beatles, we have Help. Then, a genuinely dreadful plot, as far as I can tell, for Mamma Mia. And finally, with a guest appearance from Tom Jones to close out a fairly musical round, we have Mars Attacks. So, Three Amigos, Moulin Rouge, Airplane, Help, Mamma Mia, and Mars Attacks. 6 points in total. For question 13, we asked, the Channel Tunnel was officially opened in 1994 by Queen Elizabeth II and which French president? That was François Mitterrand. François Mitterrand will get you the point there. On to question 14, we had 2 predictive texts to solve, words that could go before the word yard, and the 2 points go to barn and prison. Barn and prison. Question 15, we asked for a sport that involved a combination of map reading and cross-country running. What more fun could you have without leaving the house? It is orienteering. If anyone has put row-gaining, which I previously believed to be the process of growing back your bald patch, but apparently not, row-gaining and mountain marathon are both also acceptable. We've had a series of questions with ambiguous answers this week. So there you go. Flanimals was written by comedian Ricky Gervais. A point for Ricky Gervais. one more point than he deserves. On to question 17. We had 4 brands this week, and they were Travis Perkins, Waitrose, Save the Children, and UBS. 4 points for Travis Perkins, Waitrose, Save the Children, and UBS. Jack appears to have lost the sound. I was assuming that he'd just blocked my voice out because I only gave him half a point for Spain. But it seems genuine. He's done a sad face. I am assuming from the lack of a chorus of disapproval that everyone else can hear me. Perhaps someone who isn't reading answers could tell Jack that he might need to just restart his video stream on the comments thread. Question 18. Which German travel guide gave its name to air raids on historical beautiful British cities in World War II? Not to be confused with the man who went round nutting chefs at Michelin restaurants in the 80s. It was the Baedeker's Great Britain, for a point. That is spelt, in case you're wondering, Baedeker, but anyone who has something recognisably similar to that, give them the point. Question 19, the last of the pictures for round 1. We had 4 people, and we were asked the year they were born. First off, we had Gigi Hadid. Was she Wonder Woman, or was that someone else? Anyway, Gigi Hadid. Then Kendall Jenner, as I recall, a controversial entry for the youngest self-made, God knows what, billionaire probably, or something ridiculous, in the world. Self-made being the contentious bit. And then on to Dua Lipa, and then Post Malone, presumably born after a particularly erotic showing of Bugsy Malone. Also, we would accept Austin Post for him. They were all born in 1995 and therefore have no business being known to anyone. We will, however, accept 1993 to 1997 because they are all so young. Question 20 to round out round 1. Was that Kylie Jenner? It is possible I'm getting my Jenners mixed up. For those of you who are taking my trivia pointers. Anyway, finally, question 20. Another word for a bruise was a contusion. A bruise is a contusion. So, thank you for marking. If anyone has any top tips for Jack, for things he might be able to do to get his sound working, please feel free to volunteer them over the comment thread. And I am going to get us rolling again into round 2 with our anagram. We all love the anagram. I know that, in fact, some of you dislike the anagram, but I like it, so we do it. And the anagram is demagnetizer. It's nothing special this week, it's just another word. Can you anagramize demagnetizer? Terrified that it might actually be anagrammize, but no, I don't think I've given it away quite that quickly. And I'll leave that anagram to bubble away in the back of your minds if you didn't jump onto it immediately. And I'll give you the second question. In the abbreviation of the tasty, tasty, tasty flavour intensifier, what does MSG stand for? It's not so good, but it should be. Let us keep on pushing through, and we are coming back to the pictures. Our first picture of round 2, we have some more national park initials. I think you are now back in the national parks now. The Derby police will neither dye your lake nor send drones after you, nor name and shame you, as I understand it. But can you name these 4 initialised national parks? Now, here's one for the flag teams, flag fans in the room. We're asking how many stars are on the national flag of Turkey? How many stars are on the national flag of Turkey? Well, the playoff final looks like it might be headed to penalties. The game has been sort of wandering around, nothing of any great consequence that you're missing out on by playing the pub quiz, I can assure you. In the interim, before we get to the excitement of penalties, we're going to ask you what is the name, for question 5, of the highest prize awarded at the Cannes Film Festival. It's not a trick question, it is not the Golden Ganja or anything. What is the name of the top award at the Cannes Film Festival? Okay, question 6 takes us back to the pictures, and then I'm going to come back, I think, with the music round answers after you've had a moment to look at these. So, our 9th picture, our 6th question, we are asking about top-level football leagues. Can you name the UEFA member countries that host the Bundesliga, the Veikkausliga, Serie A, Eredivisie, the Superliga, and whatever that bear signifies. Okay, if you are the designated marker, please head back to your marking sheet. Let's catch up quickly on the music round with a little bit of luck, and they will have all populated this time. And let me just check, seeing as we had such terrible trouble last week. Okay, well that one at least looks good, so hopefully they're all okay. So first off, our song from the 60s was Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow by the Shirelles. I couldn't have told you it was the Shirelles. It is a classic tune though. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow by the Shirelles. 2 points available for that. From the 1970s, I think everyone has got this one. The only argument was about whether to capitalise which bits of ABBA. So it was, of course, ABBA with Thank You for the Music. Into the 80s, it is the man in glasses and possibly cling film himself. It is Roy Orbison with You Got It. Roy Orbison, You Got It. Those of you who put anything you want, I would love to be able to say you got it, but you don't got it. You lost it. You missed the point. Into the 80s, into the 90s, we had Joyride by Roxette. I thought it sounded like Roxette. I could not have told you the song. Well played to anyone and everyone who got that. I see most of you did. Then, into the 2000s, we had Razorlight. They were In the Morning. In the Morning was the song, Razorlight the band. And finally, into the 10s, we had Closer by the Chainsmokers featuring Halsey. Well played. I'm certainly not going to ask you to include Halsey on that one, so well played to the two teams who managed to get that completely right. I will give us a scores update just in a minute, but the way things are going, it'll still be 0-0. While you all reflect on that, let's push ahead to question 7. And for question 7, we are asking you, in which city is the headquarters of the United Nations? In which city is the headquarters of the United Nations? Looks like we've had a couple of gaps in the music round populations. First off, the 60s song was "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow" by the Shirelles. I also have, by the look of things, a couple of missing music round answers. Rich and Tim, if you could tell me which number teams those were, that'll be helpful. I'll see whether I can track down what the problem was. Hopefully we won't have the same rigmarole as we did last week. While we try to get on top of that, let's keep pushing along. And it is question 8. This is a highlight of the quiz for me. It is time for some mystery voices. I'm going to play you 3 clips. Listen to what they say, listen to what they sound like. Can you tell me who these people are?
Number 1.
So you're watching the match, basically, and you're pretending to warm up. So it's usually like the groin stretches like this. And then usually you get a shout from behind when you are in that position. Sit down, you lanky Then you'll just take a knee like that. Sorry, the groin's a bit sore.
Number 2.
Absolutely not. Oh. Listen, Mummy, I love you, but she's got the worst voice. And she always gets the words wrong. Like, for years, she used to sing, I really, really, really want to have a good time. I really, really, really want to have a good... I was like, what are you singing? So much.
Number 3.
Well, that was one of my near-death experiences. But, you know, it's amazing the power of, like, just 2 big rocks, because... Right. There was a little standoff, and then luckily, not the main guy, but one of his buddies said, "Natural Born Killers." Thank God. And that would be the movie he recognized.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes of injury time. It looks like Fulham just made a last-minute substitution, so they are clearly running down the clock. This one could go the whole distance. I know that you are enjoying the occasional commentary as much as I am. Anyway, that aside, I guess I should give you those three voices one more time.
Number 1.
So you're watching the match, basically, and you're pretending to warm up. So it's usually like the groin stretches like this. And then usually you get a shout from behind when you are in that position. Sit down, you lanky Then you'll just take a knee like that. Sorry, the groin's a bit sore.
Number 2.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Listen, Mummy, I love you, but she's got the worst voice. And she always gets the words wrong. Like, for years, she used to sing, I really, really, really want to have a good time. I really, really, really want to have a good... I was like, what are you singing?
Much.
Number 3.
Well, that was one of my near-death experiences. But, you know, it's amazing the power of, like, just two big rocks because there was a little standoff. And then luckily, not the main guy, but one of his buddies said, natural born killers. Thank God. And that would be the movie he recognized.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully you managed to work those out. In the meantime, here's a classic lyric. Once upon a time, I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. I am looking for the song title and the original artist for 2 points. I have a t-shirt with a taco on that encapsulates that sentiment. And more importantly, I can confirm that we're going to extra time in the playoff final. They may be going to extra time, but the quiz is going to end when it ends, no matter what. But let me give you a quick scores update. Now, I see that I am missing one set of music round scores. So, lockdown haircuts. Let's see, I'll give you the round 1 scores update, and I'll tell you the total scores after the music round in a bit to ratchet up the tension. After round 1, we had Meet the Parents on 45.5. Panic at the Tesco Express ahead of the pack once again on 49. World Health Organization up there on 48. The Midway Kings trailing a little on 43. Sounds a bit hippie to me. 47. The Wuhan Clan on a very respectable 43. The Footlins also on 43. And the Lockdown Haircuts at 46. Now, question 10 is a highlight of the quiz for me because it's when the question numbers meet the picture numbers. Question 10 is picture 10, and it is the ever cryptic odd ones out. Can you identify the cuckoos in the nests of these 4 lists? Have a look at those in a minute. I'm going to come back and we will do the t-shirt question for last week's winners. Sounds a bit hippie to me. Okay, back to the T-shirt question for last week's winners. Now, remember, this question is just for sounds a bit hippie to me. Anyone else is welcome to provide their suggestions, but I'll ignore them. So, just sounds a bit hippie to me. I'm going to give you a question, then I'm going to give you 30 seconds to talk among yourselves. If you get the answer right, then a Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz limited edition t-shirt will be winging its way from the top Quizcazoatl Feathered Serpent t-shirt designer Jane to sounds a bit hippies to me, lead member Jane. So it goes. Sometimes you have to do a lot of hard work to get your own t-shirt back. Anyway, this week's question. So, as you are well aware by this point, tonight is the playoff final. Brentford have a chance to win the playoffs and join the Premier League for the first time in Brentford's history. But Brentford have been in the top flight of English football before. What was the last season that Brentford played in the top flight of English football? I will give you plus or minus 4 years either way. Well, with a strong history of questions about shirts and the pandemic, I'm not entirely surprised that the quizzes of Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me were slightly taken aback, but Jane, the designer with the t-shirts, was typing, has now stopped typing, is now typing again. So, they have said 1948. Well, it's not entirely clear whether they mean the 47 to 48 season or the 48 to 49 season, but that does not matter because it was 46 to 47. Well played, sounds a bit hippie to me. You have won with your knowledge of Brentford trivia, and contact yourself to arrange to have your t-shirt organised. Thank you, team, for playing. In the meantime, let us get back to the matter at hand with a question 11. And question 11 is going to ask us, how many colonies did the United States Declaration of Independence decree were no longer part of the British Empire? The Declaration of Independence didn't break up the British Empire wholesale, just took some of the choice bits round and round about the East Coast. But how many colonies were declared independent in the Declaration of Independence? For anyone who was wondering how Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me managed to get that very important Brentford trivia right, I have it on top authority that, and I quote, I panicked and just put something stupid. So, there you go. Alon, if you're listening, Jane can panic stupidly and still get a t-shirt. What's your excuse? Anyway, we do seem to be running a little later than I can really explain, so I'm going to push us ahead on to picture 11. And this is acronyms and initialisms. We have 6 red letter words. Can you tell me what the red highlighted letters in each of these acronyms or initialisms stands for? Meanwhile, I still owe you a spot prize to take your place, your opportunity to try and wrestle yet another t-shirt off of Tony. Can you tell me how many runners crossed the finish line at the 2019 London Marathon? How many runners crossed the finish line at the 2019 London Marathon? As ever, get your answers in on the quizcazoatl@gmail.com email address to the Quizcazoatl Facebook page, or on WhatsApp or some such, or you could phone me. No one ever phones me just to chat, do they? Probably for the best, all things considered, but still, the point stands. I've distracted myself. How many runners finished the crossing line, crossed the finish line at the 2019 London Marathon? We'll come back and give you an answer and a second spot prize winner round about question 17. I can also tell you that it is still 0-0 in the football, and more importantly than that, I can give you an update on the positions after the music round has come in. Trailing, possibly splintered by the playoff final, the Footlins on 48, running ahead of them, and in the pack, the Wuhan clan on 51. Sounds a bit hippie to me. So focused were they on their t-shirt question and combing Wikipedia for Brentford trivia that they have been neglecting this week's answers. They are on 53 after a difficult music round. The Midway Kings, quite the opposite. They stormed the music round and are up to mid-table on 54. Lockdown haircuts, once their answers were finally marked, are right up there on 55 alongside the World Health Organization. But in the lead, we have, with only half a point advantage over Panic at the Tesco Express, it is Meet the Parents. My goodness, if they either win or lose by half a point, then that whole two-country fiasco is going to come back in full focus, isn't it? But well played, Meet the Parents. We could be looking at, I think, and now correct me if I'm wrong, I think that would be first-time winners in Meet the Parents can go the distance. But either way, it is nice to see another name at the top of the table. Meanwhile, time to get back to the main stream of the questions, and I am asking you for question 13. Did I ask question 12? I feel like I did. Yeah, 12 was the red letters. So for question 13, I'm asking, in which year was the very first Six Nations Championship held? I.e., in what year did Italy join the formerly Five Nations Championship? Well, the football appears to have turned into a sort of an ill-tempered succession of fouls. So it goes. I will keep you updated if it looks like it's getting any more interesting than that. And so I guess we're probably approaching half-time and extra time at this point. But in the interim, we have 3 watery films from which we are going to play you film clips. Can you name 3 watery films from these clips?
Number 1.
I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10. I don't want no volunteers. I don't want no mates. There's too many captains on this island. $10,000 for me by myself. For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Number 2.
That's nice. What is it, a sapphire?
A diamond. A very rare diamond. I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. Wearing this.
All right.
Wearing only this.
Number 3.
We might just make it. Did that thought ever cross your brain? Well, regardless, I would rather take my chance out there on the ocean than to stay here and die on this shithole island, spending the rest of my life talking to a goddamn volleyball!
A few good ones there. That last voice, I think, more recently sound gracing Dan Carlin's Hardcore History Addendum. Anyone who knows who it is may or may not be surprised to hear. Highly recommended, of course, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History for the history podcast buffs out there. For everyone else, an unhelpful and irrelevant aside. Anyway, I'll give you 30 seconds to think about those, and then I'll play them one more time.
Number 1.
I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10. I don't want no volunteers. I don't want no mates. There's too many captains on this island. $10,000 for me by myself. For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Number 2.
That's nice. What is it, a sapphire?
A diamond. A very rare diamond. I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. Wearing this.
All right.
Wearing only this.
Number 3.
We might just make it. Did that thought ever cross your brain? Well, regardless, I would rather take my chance out there on the ocean than to stay here and die on this shithole island, spending the rest of my life talking to a goddamn volleyball!
More importantly than any of that, goal! And it was Fulham. Disaster. Fulham are up. Let's see what's happened here. Joe Bryan scores from 35 yards out. Disgraceful. The goalie left a big gap between him and the post, and the ball was whipped in. So there you go. Just one more half, I guess, of extra time. Where are we? Yeah, I'm losing track of exactly where we are. I think we're at the end of the first half of extra time, and Fulham have the lead. Goodness me. Well, anyway, that'd be a shame for Brentford, but there's still time to pull it back. On to the pictures again on our very own playoffs, and we are asking you to look at picture 12. We have 6 paraphrased car makes and models. There was an incredibly oblique clue to one of these in the very first song that was playing when I launched the stream today, which I think approximately nobody was on time to hear. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Okay, well, it doesn't feel like I've been putting that much attention on the football, but we are behind, so I'm going to push through the rest of these questions. Question 16. At the end of its existence, the Soviet Union officially consisted of how many Soviet Socialist republics? We'll give you plus or minus 1 Soviet Socialist republic either way for this question. At the end of its existence, the Soviet Union officially, so not including any ones who were just sort of hiding around the back, consisted of how many republics? Okay, onwards and upwards. Question 17 takes us back to the pictures again. For picture 13, unlucky for anyone who can't work out what means. This week we have 2 film titles that have been merged with a little bit of a crossover in the middle. So, for instance, Luxman Lake would be Black Swan Lake. Can you get these other 4? 4 points available. Okay, question 70 means it's time to announce our second spot prize winner. Well, Tony said 36,120. I'm afraid, Tony, you are not a second spot prize winner. You are not going to get the automatic t-shirt. Emma Cooper, a little bit closer on 40,000. Geordie Si, you overshot at 48,700. But outrageously, and what more can one say except you guys are fierce on the spot prizes. It's Auntie Anne again with 42,310, a mere hair's breadth from the actual answer, 42,485. Next week we are alarmingly quickly returning to the marital breakdown that is Anne versus Tony. Congratulations, both of you. While everyone wonders how one couple can dominate the spot prizes so consistently, I'm going to take us on to question 18. And question 18 is, what F is the term for a slum or a shanty town in Brazil? What F is the term for a slum or shanty town in Brazil? Let's push through to question 19, and that is going to be our final picture of the day. We have 6 people, most of them a little old, and we're asking you whether you can give us their commonly used first names. Meanwhile, The Guardian describing the playoff final as the biggest game in Brentford's history. This, of course, being a team who have played at least 4 times in the top tier of British football, just in the 30s and 40s. So, The Guardian manifestly stupid and wrong, as indeed are all football commentators. Fulham are making a double substitution to eat up some time, and they have gone to a flat back 5. It is tooth and nail at Wembley. Anyway, on to the final question of round 2. Question 20. Michael Portillo's Great British Railway Journeys was inspired by which 19th century guide? For a bonus point, tell us if Michael Portillo is aiming to follow up on his Great Railway Journeys by bombing all the stations. That is, of course, not a bonus point. We all know that he is definitely planning to do that. Anyway, Michael Portillo's Great British Railway Journeys was inspired by which 19th century guide? If there is anything that you've missed from round 2 that you would like to have repeated, now is the time to say so. You can, as always, also go back, rewind on the YouTube. Failing that, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to finalise your round 2 answers, so look back anything from the pictures that you've missed. Once we get through those 3 minutes, we are going straight to the wipeout round. Okay, well, at Wembley, Brentford are firing them in with a 0 impact on the goalkeeper. Only a couple of minutes left there. Over here, it's time to go to the wipeout round. In the wipeout round, as you all know well enough by now, the last letter of every answer, it becomes the first letter of the next answer. So you can construct a chain of trivial correctness. There are 2 bonus points available if you get all 6 wipeout questions right. But be careful, if you get one of them wrong, not just blank but wrong, you lose all of your wipeout points. Let's get to it. Wipeout question 1. What term is used for a triangle of 3 unequal sides? Or what term is used for a triangle of 3 unequal sides? It's 2-0. 2-0. Brentford are staying in the Championship. What a shame. Well played, Fulham. Okay, wipeout question 2. The adrenal and thyroid glands are the main components of which system of the human body, which produces and secretes hormones into the blood? The adrenal and thyroid glands are the main components of which system of the human body, which produces and secretes hormones into the blood? Wipeout question 3. What is the common 2-part name of the First Lady of Argentina from 1946 until her death in 1952? What is the common 2-part name of the First Lady of Argentina? Yes, it's more that she was First Lady than that it was her name, but from 1946 until her death in 1952. Okay, on to wipeout question 4. Which country had the world's last Hindu monarchy? Now that to all of us Western types it may seem weird and anachronistic and quaint and backwards that a country could still have a monarchy, but I am told that there are some countries that do. So which country had the world's last Hindu monarchy? It ended in 2008 with the establishment of a secular republic. Okay, we are closing in on the end of the quiz, and I guess we should be done by about 10:30, so that's not so bad. Wipeout question 5. What substance, also called wool wax or wool grease or floof grease, is found naturally on sheep's wool? Or what substance, also called wool wax or wool grease, is found naturally on sheep's wool? Okay then, our final question of today's Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz, and thanks guys for sticking with us, even though the outside is somewhat reopened. We are just grateful to have you for an audience. Anyway, Wipeout question 6. What is the most commonly spoken Native American language in the United States, speakers of which were used in World War II to be code talkers? What is the most commonly spoken Native American language in the United States, speakers of which were used in World War II to be code talkers? As ever, if you've missed anything, do let me know. You can, of course, rewind the YouTube. Other than that, I am going to give you a 2-minute countdown. Please do try to get your round 2 and, or rather, Wipeout answers submitted by the end of that 2 minutes. Then we will have a little bit more of Baz Jones tinkling the ivories to take us through the necessary period for Google to think about what it's done and catch up with us. And then we'll go over those round 2 answers. Okay, hopefully you are all getting your answers in now. Here we go. Let us give you something a little bit different on the ivories. You try explaining that visual to yourself in 2018. We still have... Okay, we're just waiting on... Who are we waiting for? One more team. Can't quite work out who it is. I think... Just waiting on the Midway Kings. Maybe you've already hit submit. In which case, thank you for hitting submit. While we're waiting on that, let's just have one more of those excellent little musical intermissions. There you go. For anyone who ever wondered what either Baz or a Tetris Maximus look like. Anyway, we now have all of the answers in. Hopefully they have updated on your answer sheets, which means that it's time to go through the round 2 answers. Question 1 of round 2, we had an anagram. It wasn't anagramize, it was disagreement. Disagreement for a point. Then the abbreviation MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. Highly recommended. I once had a guy I live with get my jar of monosodium glutamate thinking it was salt and try to do a salt, lime and tequila with it. Which I can assure you is not the best way to enjoy monosodium glutamate. So there we are, a useful life lesson from Matt the electrician. Question 3, we had 4 national parks to name. They were Dartmoor, the Pembrokeshire Coast, the New Forest and the South Downs. Looks like almost everyone got all 4 of those. Well played there. How many stars are on the national flag of Turkey? Again, most teams got this. That is only 1 star. It is a 1-star country on a flag basis. Question 5. The name of the highest prize awarded at the Cannes Film Festival. That is the Palme d'Or. That is not, I'm afraid, the Rose d'Or. But it is the Golden Palm. Golden Palm is English for Palme d'Or. So meet the parents, I think, get the point. Question 6. Name the countries from their top level football league logos in picture 9. We had, by the way, Brentford pulled one back, but it wasn't enough. It is now full time. Fulham have gone up. I know that you were all looking forward to that confirmation. Anyway, what do we have? The countries and their top-level football league logos. We had Germany, Finland, the bear is Russia, of course, Italy, Denmark, and Holland. I have no idea why Holland has quite so many dashes underneath it, but we are apparently accepting the Netherlands. Begging the question, if Holland is the Netherlands, who are the Dutch? Anyway, 6 points for Germany, Finland, Russia, Italy, Denmark, and the Netherlands. In which city is the headquarters of the United Nations? That is New York, famously. If you watch the 1960s Batman film, you can see Batman and Robin rappelling up the outside of the United Nations building. And much recommended it is too. Question 8. On to the mystery voices. We had 3 people. They were a lanky Stoke forward of yesteryear, Peter Crouch, Spice Girl of yesteryear, Emma Bunton, and bartender of Boston's very own Cheers of yesteryear, Woody Harrelson. 3 points for Peter Crouch, Emma Bunton, and Woody Harrelson. Question 9. The lyrics and artist. Once upon a time I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. On to picture 10 was question 10, and we had 4 odd ones out. What were the 4 odd ones out? They were... Oh, there we are. So we had hydrogen. Of course, hydrogen does not exist outside of its presence in water in the atmosphere because it is too reactive. No hydrogen in the atmosphere. U2 released their first single in 1980. Wichita is in Kansas. And Civet is a viviridida. It's a viviridida. So 4 points for hydrogen, U2, Wichita, and Civet. Question 11. How many colonies did the US Declaration of Independence decree were no longer part of the British Empire? Unlucky for Britain and the Soviet Union, it was 13. Question 12. The words represented... Hang on a second. Yes, Bonnie Tyler and Total Eclipse is indeed 2 points. Thank you for checking in. Words represented by red letters in picture 11. We had closed circuit TV, circuit for the point. Someone's sheet has crashed. Hopefully that'll come... has everyone's sheet crashed? That'll be a nuisance, won't it? Let's have a look and see what we can see. Okay, well, I see at least some of the sheets are working. So, hopefully... Okay, it looks like it's just refreshed. It is, thanks to Google for providing this terribly clever free Google Sheets technology. It is not, as you well know, totally seamless. But what is... Anyway, where were we? We were on the red letter words. First off, we had circuit, as in closed circuit TV. Diploma, as in higher national diploma. Then clearing, as in bankers' automated clearing system. Then we had prevention, as in Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. We had citizens, as in Citizens Band Radio. And finally, we had association, as in the Automobile Association. So 6 points available there for circuit, diploma, clearing, prevention, citizens, and association. In which year was the first men's Six Nations Championship held, i.e. when did Italy join the Five Nations? That was the year 2000. On to question 14. We had 3 watery films to identify. First off, I think maybe the hardest of the 3. There's a lot to go on this time, but we had Jaws. Did everyone get this? I ask myself. It looks like nearly everybody got Jaws. The Footlins are showing their age by going for Mutiny on the Bounty because Jaws is too recent. Anyway, we had Jaws, Titanic, and of course Castaway. Jaws, Titanic, and Castaway for 3 points. Let's see. Someone was asking for the odd ones out again. We had hydrogen, U2, Wichita, and civet for 4 points. There were indeed 13 states. Jack Tucker Feltham asks, is the Citizen okay? Is which Citizen okay? Oh, Citizen for citizens. Yeah, no, that's fine. We won't hold you to account on a pluralisation. Question 15. We had 6 paraphrased car manufacturers to identify. First off, we had Hyundai, then Lada, then Corvette, Chrysler, and of course the Cadillac, and Lancia. Lancia, do you see? Anyway, 6 points for Hyundai, Lada, Corvette, Chrysler, Cadillac, and Lancia. At the end of its existence, how many republics were in the Soviet Union? The answer to that one is 15. We're giving you plus or minus 1 on that, so anything between 14 and 16 will get the point. We had a few teams fell on either side. It's all ancient history now, isn't it? The Soviet Union was still on my globe when I was little, but there you go. Hadn't even discovered Australia on my globe, mind. Anyway, question 17. We had missing vowels. Can you give these film amalgamations? We had With Nail and I Am Legend. Someone's put With Nell, which I assume is a sort of a Chinese whispers incident, and which I wholeheartedly insist gets given the point. With Nell and I Am Legend. Then Once Upon a Time in American Pie. Then Monsters Inception, which is a crossover film that I, for one, would like to see. And finally, Live and Let Die Hard. Looks like people did pretty well on those, so congratulations. On to our Brazilian slum. That is a favela. I will not hold you accountable for the number of L's, but I'm afraid whoever put Fenella, Penelope Pitstop? Fenella Fudge? No, Fenella is not quite close enough. On to the commonly used first names of our old folk. We had Nikola, as in Nikola Tesla. We had Ada Lovelace. Johannes, as in Johannes Gutenberg. Gustav, as in Holst. I feel as if Gustav Holst came up in this quiz a while ago as well, but maybe I'm getting mixed up. Then we had Mary Wollstonecraft, and finally Blaze of Glory himself, Mr. Pascal. 6 points for Nicola, Ada, Johannes, Gustav, Mary, and Blaze. Finally, Michael Portillo's Great British Railway Journey was inspired by the 19th century guide, Bradshaw's Guide. A Bradshaw's Guide for all of you Portillo fans out there. Okie dokie, that brings us on to the Wipeout round. We're running incredibly late. I guess I just need to get my act together and stop commentating on football matches as an aside, but apologies for taking so long. I didn't realise it was going to be this bad. Question 1 of the Wipeout. The term for a triangle of 3 unequal sides is scalene. Then, the adrenal and thyroid glands are the main components of the endocrine system. The common 2-part name of the First Lady of Argentina from 1946 until her death in 1942. I'm certainly not going to cry for her. It was Eva Perón. Someone or a couple of teams have put Evita Perón, which is not really right, but we'll let you have that, because I guess, she was called Evita, so fine. Then on to our last Hindu monarchy, ended in 2008. That was Nepal. Nepal for the point for question 4. Our oily wool is lanolin. And finally, our Native American language for Wipeout question 6 is Navajo. The Navajos provided code talkers for the Americans in World War II. It looks like we've had a pretty solid bit of Wipeout round for everyone there. I think only one team failed to get 8 points by the look of things. That is very good. Anyway, as you all know, it takes a couple of minutes for these scores to filter through to the computer banks at the Quizcazoatl Central Temple. So while that is happening, I will just take a moment to remind you that we are still inviting anyone who is enjoying the quiz and hasn't already been more than generous or has been hoarding a great stack of t-shirts and would like to give something back. Do consider making a contribution to the Lewisham Food Bank. We are up to something of the order of £800 raised since we started, which I think is very good for a quiz which is fundamentally not a fundraising exercise. So, we have angry words against Evita coming in over the airwaves. Several people say Evita is wrong. Now, I think the question did say commonly used name, didn't it? I mean, I'm sure people did say Evita. I minded to let Evita stand, but my Argentinian history is not so very solid as to have a clear answer. I may have to take a moment to just look that up on Google to get a clear view of the status there. So bear with me a moment. All right. Well, there is an evitaperon.org website. Well, it doesn't really load for me. So I think that, well, I accept that Evita is commonly used as the one-word name for Eva Peron. I think that unless someone can give me a very compelling two-sentence explanation of why it's absolutely incorrect, we will let the Evita Peron stand, because as I always say, this is a quiz with a great generosity of spirit, and also it amuses me to upset all of you sticklers out there. That being that, it looks like I am going to be able to give you the ranking. And it has been, again, an exceptional, like possibly the highest all-round performance that we've ever had on the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. Only one team short of 100 points, which when we do the pub quiz in real life at an actual pub is... it is often enough to win anyway. What was I saying? The Evita discussion continues. So sorry, to be clear, the people being given the points for Evita have put Evita Peron. So they have indeed given a two-name answer. Just they put Evita Peron instead of Eva Peron. So that's where the argument lies. I think we can all agree that they were talking about the same person, which is really, underneath it all, the point of the thing. Anyway, what was I saying? So, all but one team came over 100 points. The Footlins, despite an 8 out of 8 on the wipeout round, came in on 97. Like I say, in any reasonable company, that would be an excellent score against you bunch of trivia nuts. It's not quite enough to get into the peloton. The Wuhan clan, I think probably the highest score for the Wuhan clan, So well played team on 103. The lockdown haircuts then sounds a bit hippie to me, both on 109. Just trailing in fourth place, the World Health Organization on 110. And that means that the Midway Kings, Panic at the Tesco, and Meet the Parents are our top three this week, with 113 points. Panic at the Tesco Express are 1 point ahead of the Midway Kings, but 2.5 points behind Meet the Parents, which happily means that neither a point for Evita Peron nor a half point for having two countries instead of one on .es has swung the quiz. Blinky has asked for some extra points for the wrong answer. Anyone who is marking the World Health Organization, please do add in some extra points for wrong answers for them. I'm not going to pay any attention, but it can be recorded on the form. Meet the Parents, as I say, I think first-time winners. Did you guys win? Okay, quite a while ago anyway, if you guys have won before, so very well played. You will be in for a shot at a t-shirt next week, as of course, as normal apparently, will Tony and Anne. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back again next week, and the way things are going, I think I can reasonably say that we will be ploughing through August and into September because everyone's still interested. So, a good night, sweet dreams. I am so sorry to all the Brentford fans out there. See you same bat time, same bat channel next week's. Yeah, I'm sure I said Meet the Parents won several times. Meet the Parents have indeed won. That is confirmed. I am more than happy to